All right, everyone, going to be getting into the Week 10 core plays here for you guys on DraftKings. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to start with the quarterback position, guys, and I think we're getting kind of a quarterback value core play, kind of like what we had with Parker Washington last week, where the price tag was too good to pass up on, and that's how I feel about Jacoby Brissett. So part of this is due to the fact that he has been playing extremely well over the past 3 games, to the point where it does seem like the Cardinals gave Kyler Murray a little bit of a soft benching, but also kind of weird that they put him on the IR, so kind of whatever. The point is, Jacoby Brissett has been playing extremely well, and the offense has definitely looked better with him as their QB. Now, the concern that we have is going to be the matchup here with the Seattle Seahawks. But overall, if he gives us what he's projected to get, which is 16 DFS points, that's going to end up being enough. Again, given his price tag, guys, he's projected to be a 3.5x value, pretty low ownership as well. I would imagine that would start to adjust once more people figure out that Kyler Murray is out. If that ends up staying the same, that's going to be one of the better leverage spots in the week, again, considering his price tag. Now, don't get me wrong, someone like Jackson Dart is appealing, guys, at the quarterback position as well. He's just priced up much more than Brissett, and I want to be able to pay up for some of the receivers, and I'll talk about those as the video progresses. But we did get news that Stevenson is going to once again be out for the New England Patriots here, guys. And so with him being out, that will once again make TreVeyon Henderson a core play. So in his first start of his rookie season, rookie career, or just his career, I guess, he was able to get 20 opportunities in that game, guys. And if we're going to be getting 20 opportunities for a player at 5.6 in what should end up being a pretty appealing game here going against the Bucs, a team that will give up some passing production to opposing running backs and has been defeatable via the run game, then Henderson becomes very appealing. Now, I know some people might dog on this because Terrell Jennings got a goal line touchdown. I'm kind of like, oh, well, like if we can secure 6 targets and like 7 DFS points through the passing game again, like we would gladly sign up for that. We would gladly sign up for 20 opportunities at this price tag in a good matchup. And so I'm more than happy to get to him. I'm glad that value is out there. And then another easy play. This is probably the easiest one on the week. And if it doesn't work out, I'm kind of okay with it. Rico Dowdle, guys. So he's basically getting used as Derrick Henry. Like I kind of joked about that in the preview video, but he is basically Derrick Henry 2.0 right now because look at it, guys, 25 carries, 130 rush yards. He's the reason why they won that game against the Packers. And then we see 30 rush attempts, 23 rush attempts as the RB1, and he's going to be the clear workhorse in a very good matchup against the Saints, a team that they should be playing with the lead against. He ends up being a very easy click. And it's worth calling out, guys, Rico will probably end up being pretty chalky, but again, that's kind of because he should be. Now, the one concern that I have is that this is a lower scoring game, only 39.5 total points. That is extremely low, but we do see he is projected to get right around 17 DFS points. And yeah, at that price tag, that is certainly very appealing. And then, yes, we do have TreVeyon Henderson here, guys. His projection data might go up a little bit as the week progresses, but currently not owned at all. That is clearly a mistake. So not only is he someone we should be treating as a core play, but he's also someone that if he stays at around that ownership is going to end up being a great leverage play. I do expect that number to at least triple. Probably going to settle in at around 10%, I would imagine. And if he's anything lower than that, my goodness, that ends up being a great spot for us. And then 2 players that I do consider core plays as well. James Cook, guys, I do like him a lot in a very high scoring game. Also in a game where they are projected to win by 9 points. And assuming he still gets his normal workload, which is around 70% of the RB snaps, then he ends up being a great play. I kind of disagree with the points projection for him. I think he's going to end up being a phenomenal option for us. Projected to get right around 19 opportunities total in this game. So I do really like James Cook. The reverse side of that game, though, is Devon Achane, who's getting a lot of ownership, which in a negative game script where they're going to have to throw the football a lot, it makes sense. And like the projections also have him as the better play. But that's the tough part for me is like it does feel like we're kind of choosing between one of those two. I don't know if we necessarily need to get to both of those two. And that's just due to us getting some pretty, simple, easy clicks at the running back position with Henderson and Dowdle. Speaking of kind of easy clicks, given the fact that we're getting this great value on the top end, well, we're just going to get to Puka Nacua. I'm not too worried about his injury because, well, he seems to be good to go. He's not questionable at all. Then on top of that, I do really like getting to ASB, guys, what should be a pretty high-scoring game against Washington, although obviously with Jaden Daniels being out, we don't necessarily love that, but I do think he's going to end up having a pretty high floor for us. If you guys wanted to get to JSN instead of ASB, you could easily do that there instead. I do also really like Jalen Waddle. I think he's a little bit too cheap for the production he has had with Tyreek Hill out. He's really only had one bad game with Hill out. And again, this is a high-scoring game where we know they're most likely going to be playing from behind. Jeff Jefferson gets a great match, but I don't know if I necessarily want to target that. And then kind of worth mentioning, like price tag wise, I do really like going out of my way to get to Jawan Jennings and also Wendell Robinson as it currently sits right now, as the slate currently sits. And then guys, I think we're at kind of the point in the season where we are naturally just punting to some tight end values that we get. And I think Greg Dulcich ends up being a great punt tight end play for us this week. He ended up getting 5 targets and scoring 9.9 DFS points in his first game for the Miami Dolphins. He firmly seems to be in that Jonnu Smith, Darren Waller role, if you will. And he ended up getting like 50% of the snaps with his first week with the Miami Dolphins, and that's kind of crazy. And so if that number goes up a little bit, like maybe to 60, he could end up being a very good play for us. And again, negative game script. Don't love the matchup, but oh well, at 2.6, we can kind of just hopefully he gets the targets and the matchup doesn't end up being a big issue. Then I will say I kind of do have a defensive core play, although I don't necessarily love it. But the Jaguars, guys, they did go negative one game against the Rams. Don't necessarily like that. You guys know my typical strategy when it comes to DST is find the lowest price DST that's not going to go negative. And I would actually argue that'd be the Saints this week going against the Panthers. I also do really think the Cardinals DST probably won't go negative. I mean, they had a good game against Dallas, who had been a good offense, so you could argue them. But the Jaguars going against Houston without CJ Stroud and also potentially without Nick Chubb is almost too good to pass up on right now. They have had some pretty good games, although not recently, but that's also because the talent has been a little bit more difficult. They went against KC, Seattle, the Rams, and then you would have liked a better game against the Raiders, but oh well. I think they do end up being a pretty solid defense for us. And so let's try to go ahead and close out this first look build for you guys. And this is where I could end up just getting to someone like Jawan Jennings, who I do think is a fine play at his price tag. And then we have 6.6 left over for the flex. Worth calling out, guys, that there has been news that Junkins is going to get a lot of work, basically going to be treated as a workhorse, which in that matchup against the Jets is certainly appealing, I would say. The Jets defense has gotten much worse as well. And so I am leaning towards Junkins there just with the trades that they have made. So that should help out the Browns. But if you want to get to like Kyron or Jalen Waddle, you could easily do that there as well. And so this is going to be my like second look build for you guys, if you will. But let's go ahead and plug the core plays into the 9-5 lineup builder and see what other combination of builds it spits out to us. And so the tough part about this slate and kind of the core plays I gave you guys is that it is going to be very direct with the players that we can get to. So I think like Jacoby Brissett, again, with the quarterback core play that really, I mean, you could toss and dart in there if you wanted to as well, but we're just going to do it with Brissett here for example purposes. We're going to do Rico Dowdle. We are going to do Achane and Cook. Okay, so we're going to get 4 running backs because we're getting to Henderson as well. We got Puka Nacua in there, and then we're also going to get to ASB. I could toss in JSN. I like ASB a little bit more, but I feel like those two are definitely, very close in regards to who I like the most. And then we'll toss in Greg Dulcich into this mix as well. And then we'll even go Jaguars DST. So what we're going to do here, guys, is we want at least 7 of those plays in all the builds, and then we're just going to see what it spits out to us. So this isn't typically something that we would do. It's kind of a weird core play set, because we're really only focusing on the receiver number 3 spot and the flex. But it is interesting because I do want to see if it's going to give us like 2 tight end builds, because those have been the like Millie Maker lineups over the past 2 weeks. I think it's been the last 2 weeks. Might have been 2 of the last 3 weeks. But I am interested to see if it does that. And I'm not going to do force a QB stack with a pass catcher. So we'll do 20 lineups here and see what it spits out to us. All right, and so the top lineup that it spit out to us, obviously Brissett, Achane, Rico, JSN, ASB, Deebo Samuel. I don't hate Deebo, Dulcich, and it did go double tight end. So it is going double tight end a bunch, which I kind of figured it would. We're getting to David Njoku a little bit, which, guys, if Harold Fannin is out, David Njoku would be someone I would be borderline considering a core play. So worth calling that out. Now, what's interesting is, if we're playing Brissett, I know he got a goal line rushing TD in his last game, but most likely not going to get that every single game, right? A 1-yard rushing touchdown. We probably want to be forcing a QB stack with him. And so it'd probably be Marvin Harrison Jr. or Trey McBride that we would want to get to. And that becomes the kind of difficult part about this slate. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys would like access to any of the tools that you saw throughout this video, the 9-5 DraftKings cheat sheet, the 9-5 NFL DFS lineup builder, plus we have much more tools, guys, fantasy golf tools, NFL tools, NBA tools, and just general prop tools, all available for a low monthly cost here of $10 a month, which would give you access to all tools, again, available on the 9-5 website. That'll do it for this video. Again, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for being here. Good luck with all your builds for the main slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.